Hello, everyone, and I hope you had a fantastic Valentine's Day and, Valentine's Day weekend. And if not, we all know love can hurt, but no one knows that more than Ke Huy Quan, right? We all know him, right? He was short round in Indiana Jones and Data in the Goonies, but he finally came back up, right? He used to do a bunch of martial arts, I guess, choreography in the background of his career, but he finally is back at acting, and he was in Everywhere, Everything, All at Once, and now he has finally got the lead role in Love Hurts. And it's just crazy because in both of these movies, he just has love issues and problems in the love department, right? And Everything Everywhere All at Once, his wife, played by Michelle Yeoh, he was dealing with them getting into a divorce and almost separating because their daughter was like transcending time. And then now you have him falling in love with this mob boss accountant who ends up stealing from said mob boss, and he's supposed to kill her, but instead of killing her, he actually is in love with her and he lets her live, which in return comes back to bite him in the ass. But I mean, it's just crazy that in both of his films, just love actually is not in his future, though it ends up working out for him in the end, thankfully. But Love Hurts was fantastic. It was a solid film, again, for being his debut film as a lead. It was just fantastic. The fight scenes were good. The plot was very straightforward. Even the subplots were genuinely hilarious. But I would definitely suggest this if you have not seen it, because it is just awesome, right? But the film follows Key as this character, Marvin Gable, and he's a realtor. He just sells homes for a living. It turns out that, in his past, he was his brother's right-hand man, in a sense, right? His brother, Knuckles, was his mob boss, and it turned out that he was just really good at killing people. Knuckles ironically would use Marvin to end up, doing all the dirty work and being able to, kill whoever he needed to so he could rise to the top of whatever kingpinism he was getting himself into. But it turned out that this lawyer of his, this character Rose, played by Ariana DeBose, who I had wondered, like, why did I recognize this chick? And it turned out she was literally just in Kraven the Hunter, which was why I had I feel like I had recently seen her before, but apparently she's still been in other things, but they're probably not as prominent roles as she's been in as of late. But still, like, I had wondered, I've seen this chick before, but she played a pretty cool role in this. But so she was this character Rose, who was said to have stolen from Knuckles, but because Marvin was in love with her, he helped her fake her death, and he was able to in turn get out of the mob business because he just didn't want to kill anymore, right? So he went into realty and started selling homes for Cliff. What was his name? Cliff Cusick, played by Sean Astin, right? Yeah, it was pretty cool. Like, his whole little backstory was pretty sweet, right? But so he's selling homes, and it turns out he gets paid a visit by one of his old coworkers, you would say, this character named the Raven, this crazy black dude that throws knives. And it's crazy because the guy that plays him, his name is Mustafa Shakir. It's a badass name, super black, super African. I don't know what race he is, but he's definitely of dark descent. But his character was phenomenal, right? They had this sick fight scene there, and he lets him know, Rose is here in town, and she's gonna mess up everything. It turns out that other henchmen in the mob group were the ones that actually stole from Knuckles, but they framed her. So it turned out she was actually innocent, but they pretty much put the blame on her to try to get it, and they still got away with half of the money that she supposedly had took. It was outrageous. It was this whole scheme, right? So now Marvin has a choice to either give up the woman that he actually loved and saved, or help protect her. And of course, he ends up getting into contact with her, or more or less she gets into contact with him with little Valentine's Day cards, and he agrees to help her, in a sense, try to either go back into hiding or to finish what was started, years ago. And it turns out that these two henchmen also are on his tail, Otis and King, who are genuinely awesome. Their subplot is really funny, and they're just two henchmen. Surprisingly, this Knuckles isn't the best. I mean, the Penguin could definitely ruin this guy's life and career. But they're these random henchmen that end up have this little subplot of, Otis, the one dude, Otis, he's dealing with his wife drama at home, and he's trying to call her and stuff, but he's he's a henchman, so he's oh yeah, I miss you, I just gotta kill a couple more people and then I'll be home, apparently at the end of a fight or something, because she doesn't like what he does. It's hilarious. And then King is his, dreaded partner. He looks like T-Pain pretty much. Should have just cast T-Pain in this role. It would have been probably a little bit better. But They were really funny. And then it turns out even Raven, after him and Key have the fight in his office, he ends up being found by Ashley, who's Key's assistant at the realtor office, and she ends up falling in love with him. She's this really macabre gothic chick, that works for a realty and has to like put on a smiley face, but she's actually like this, very sad, depressed individual, and she ends up falling in love with Raven, and it's so good. Like her whole random little thing is so sweet, and they end up like being together in the end, and it's actually kind of cool. But yeah, and then so pretty much Marvin and Rose have to go stop his brother, because his brother's now wanting to kill him because he knows that he let her live, but he also wants to kill Rose. But Marvin's in love with Rose, and that she was the one person that was for him, and he didn't want her to have to disappear because he loved her, but he wanted to save her life. So of course he's not going to let her die, but he also can't give her up, so he has to defend her. And sometimes love really hurts, physically and mentally, emotionally, everything under the sun, right? That makes your being you. But yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, I can't wait to see what films he does next, or what style of films he does next. He could really just be in anything, honestly, and I would watch it. But again, the fact that he was the lead and this was his movie, I was so excited to watch it. I don't think he directed it. I don't even know who directed it, but still, it was a fantastic film, solid cast all the way around, and I would definitely suggest to watch it. If you haven't seen it, watch Love Hurts. If you haven't seen Everything Everywhere All at Once, I mean, shit, you should definitely watch Everything Everywhere All at Once as well, because it's just as fantastic, but probably actually a little bit better, of course. But still, this was a very good movie, and I would fully suggest it. But yeah, this has been Ghost in the Craig. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.